Welcome to the Evolve Beyond Limits podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Geisel, self-mastery coach and mentor. The mission of Evolve Beyond Limits is simple. Fall in love with your life and change the world in the process. And each episode of this podcast is dedicated to helping you do just that. It's designed to bring you one step closer to an aha moment that could completely transform your life so that you can keep evolving into your fullest potential. The reality is how you show up in the world matters, and I don't want you to waste another second living a life that doesn't light your soul on fire. So let's have some fun. All right, welcome back to the Evolve Beyond Limits podcast. I'm so excited to bring you Andrea Parker today. So funny story about this of how we connected actually is Meg, who, if you haven't listened to, go back to episode 34. She is one of the brightest, most amazing souls that you will ever meet. But check that out. But Meg referenced her coach multiple times during this interview. And I was like, I think I'm going to really like this girl. And then we ended up connecting, and she's for sure like a soul sister of mine. Every conversation we have, quite literally, I'm like, we should be recording this. We should be recording this. So welcome, Andrea. We are going to record the conversation. But just thank you so much for being here.
I love this. Thank you for having me. I know we've chatted a few times and we're like, yeah, why didn't we record this? So I'm grateful that we get to play. I know.
It's going to be so good. And I was like, I could turn these into just like multiple podcast episodes. But okay, so I'm going to rapid fire a couple of questions at you, and then we'll dive in. But they're just kind of fun. Get the momentum going. So, where are you from? Where are you living?
I am living just north of Toronto in Canada. So we live in Muskoka.
Muskoka. It sounds so Canadian.
It totally is, but it's beautiful. So we're on the lake. It's our heaven on earth is what we call it.
So good. Okay. What is your favorite song right now?
Ooh, favorite song. I would say, oh my God, I don't even know.
I stumped her.
You did stump right off the bat. My favorite song, it's so funny because I said Heaven on Earth, and the thing that's popping in my head is that Heaven on Earth song.
Let's roll with it.
That's
Heaven on Earth it is.
So let's do that.
Okay. I like it. Do you have a favorite color?
Ooh, a color I love. I have this crystal, and it's actually sitting in front of me. It's like this white, but there's like this orangey kind of burnt color to it. And right now it's almost like an energy. So that's the color that I'm really drawn to right now. It's almost like a burnt orangey crystal-like color.
So good. So burnt orangey crystal-like, usually is very, very tied to our sacral chakra, which is all the juiciness and the fun and the play and all of that, which is like, so I know a huge focus of yours right now. So that totally makes sense. And anybody's listening, see, your favorite colors can change. They can shift as we are attracted to new things. So along the lines of play, what was one of the things you used to love to do as a kid?
I loved anything outside. So I actually grew up, we moved to this place, and it was like this magical place in the woods. So I played outside, anything that you could possibly think of, but it was me co-creating with the universe. And I would just like play all these games in the forest, in the woods. I'd create these forts. I would do literally anything if I could be outside. That's what I love to do. And then outside that, water. So if I could be near water, in water, playing in water, anything with water, that is, and it's still to this day, that's what I love.
Me too. Okay. Then last one. What is one thing that is on your bucket list right now?
The Maldives.
Oh, yes. Okay. I had this like dream when Andrew and I were when we got engaged, and I'd like watch all these wedding shows, and I'd be like, I want to get married there. So who knows? Maybe like a reunion.
Or let's just go for fun. Yeah.
Or that, which I mean, all the things. Okay. I love that. Okay. So I absolutely adore connecting with other people who are helping people really do like the deep work. If you know me and if you meet Andrea, you know that we don't do anything surface level. This is why our conversations just go into these spirals of beautiful, as Andrew would call it, like co-creation, because we don't do surface level. And so, and I know that you do this in a very unique way. I actually did a session with Andrea, and she cracked me open within like 5 seconds. I was bawling my eyes out, but I left there. I just got a message from somebody. She was like, I was crying and it reminded me of you. I was like, I'm not really sure how to take that, but it's because our tears, there's such a release, right? Like they are, um, it means we're getting somewhere in my opinion. So I left that session just feeling so much lighter and just like a lot of clarity on what was getting in my way. So can you just tell the listeners a little bit about, I mean, and trust me, I know like putting us into boxes is not something I'm trying to do, but just more about that and maybe what it like the tool that you kind of used and a little bit more about what your process looks like with people.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that because I just feel like for me, I've always been that type of person where it's like, I want to know the deeper, like the why, the source, the what is the thing. And that's probably why before this I was a police detective because it was like, tell me the thing, why is it? Like, let's get right down to the questions. And for our session together, basically, one of the methods I used was the heart freedom method. And what I love about the heart freedom method is it allows you to actually go to the source of where you created this initial, could be emotion, whether it was positive or negative. What is the subconscious block? So a lot of the time is we think we know what it is or we have an idea of what it is, but we don't actually know like the source, the origin of where it came from. And the work that we did together is it really allowed us to go back to that moment where you had a perception, where you perceived something as either good or bad. And what that did is it created emotion, you stored it into your body, your physiology, and it created this essentially this imprint. So then what happens is later on in life, when we go to move our career forward, move our relationship forward, we go to play our dreams. Often what's sparked is if we do not love something because we have this emotion, we have this imprint, we end up replaying it. So the heart freedom allows us to go back to this moment to bring it back up to the surface so that we can actually see the perfection in it, see that it wasn't just bad or it wasn't just good, and that was actually love. Because love is both. Love is seeing both of them simultaneously. It's seeing the blessing in it, really. And why that often can feel emotional or it can feel like you're hitting the deep stuff is because you really are. You're hitting the source of why it is that either you feel stuck or that next growth opportunity. But it's not a heavy stuck. It's more like, let's free this. Let's move this forward. Let's go deeper so that we can be deeper, so we can unfold more to who we are. And that's why I love this work, because really that's all you're doing is it's almost like you already are love. You already are this perfection. All we're doing is we're going back to these times where maybe we created these illusions, these stories, these beliefs that we aren't, and it's just dissolving them. It's freeing them. And then it's allowing you to be able to flow through to that next level or that next desire with greater ease because it's already there.
Mm. Yeah, and I think a lot of people we miss that because we think that there's always this I think that we get in this world where we think that we're always missing something. And the reality is we're not missing anything. We just have to uncover or release some of these stories or habits that we have conditioned ourselves to live our life by, right? And so I think what you're saying is so powerful because you don't have to go out and find it. And I like we often look outside of ourselves for all the answers, right? And we're looking for that thing that's going to launch us into our next big career thing, or you're finally going to put the pieces together. But like all of that is really about just continuing to uncover what's already in your old soul. And I think like you and I are a great example of this because um I love this quote, and it's the soul is always circling home. And when
Mhm.
you think about that, like you were a detective, I was a nurse, so a detective, right? Like this is literally like what like so anybody who's listening, it's like your soul is always circling home. So realize that like Andrea was a detective because she knew that she loved to get to the bottom of things and like dig deep and put pieces together. And then like I was a nurse because I love to connect dots and see how all the systems work together. And look at how beautifully that has like unfolded and where we are today. I just thought that was an interesting correlation when I was listening to you.
Yeah, and it's funny because usually when you're on the path too, so like when you're in it, it's you're like, this makes no sense. Why do I have to be a detective? Or why do I have to be a nurse? Or this is challenging. This might not be. It was actually, it might have been yesterday. I was because I strongly believe in walking my talk. Like if I'm gonna share this with other people, like I'm gonna bring myself through it. And there was one specific thing that popped up, and it was for a moment when I was in policing. I was like, I felt like choosing policing was me going against what my soul wanted. So then it's like, I need to get out of this so I can free my soul so that I can then do what I want to do. And the connection that I made was it was actually the greatest gift for my soul because it was the quickest way from point A to point B for my soul's growth, to live the dream, to have what I want, to almost like strengthen and develop my skills. So often our soul's bringing us home, but sometimes when we are on that journey, it can feel like, but I feel like I'm not connected to my soul, or why would my soul want me to do this? And it's like, it's really coming back to home of who we are, and that actually the journey is love, whether it feels like it's supporting or it's challenging you on that journey. It's all love, really. Everything's love.
Hmm. Well, and I think too, so often we get caught up in our own perception of what is going on, right? We get caught up. We just had this conversation over the weekend with my um, Living Limitless group is that just because your heart and your soul are leading you someplace, a lot of times it is our preferences that get in the way,
Yes.
right? Like, so it's not really that we are, you know, we block ourselves from going where our souls really want to go because it's not our preference. Well, I don't want to live there, or I don't want to pursue this, or I don't want, well, guess what? Everyone listening, the universe, God, the divine spirit doesn't really give a shit what you want. It's leading you someplace for a reason.
It's so true. And it's like, I'm just picturing, it's like, okay, the universe is like, take my hand and I'm going to get you from here to there. You just have to flow with it. You have to trust. You have to be in it. And then what we want to do is it's like, no, I'm not doing that because that doesn't feel good. That feels uncomfortable. I don't understand. And now it's like, okay, well, then we're going to take you there, but we're going to drag you through the mud and it's going to feel very unpleasant. So it's like mastery level learning to trust is also, okay, how can I enjoy this journey, or how can I surrender to that this is for my highest and greatest good? And part of it is if you truly have a dream or a desire to live an amazing life, there is going to be that growth process. And the growth process doesn't always feel comfortable. And that's part of it. It's because you're growing.
Right. And it most often is super uncomfortable, is what I would, and like, I actually went through something last week and it was one of these growth moments for me. And it was really beautiful now that like I'm like shining because of the light coming in. But um it I wrote this out too that bravery comes in a lot of forms, right? So, but I'm not gonna say but and um how like courageous you are is often
Mm.
how willing are you to step out of the familiar and into the unfamiliar? And so there was this level of trust, right? And I think that in our world, this is a lesson that I'm learning. So I'd love to get your input on this. In our world, we are taught that trust means you take the leap and you figure it out later. Yes. But for me, in my life, I have never, ever, ever had an issue taking the leap. A lot of people do have that problem, okay? But in my life, I'm a pretty much a sledgehammer. Like, and this was what I had to learn. I will battle my way through. I will take the leap. And then I have this because I do know that it will work out. Okay. Follow me here for a second. And but actually, there's a different level of trust.
Mhm.
There's a different aspect of this that for me, what is unfamiliar, the braver thing for me to do is not just simply take the leap, instead, is to put a different level of trust and say, if this is supposed to work out, I don't have to force my way through it. I don't have to push my way through it. I don't have to manipulate it, dominate it, and control it in order for it to happen how it is supposed to. So I am going to fully surrender and trust that if this is for me, it won't pass me by. And there's actually a way to use a feather instead of a sledgehammer. So I guess my whole point, and I would love to get your feedback on this and what your thoughts are, because to me, my familiar is push, shove, dominate, sledgehammer my way through. And it has served me. It has served me. It has gotten me to where I am today. But last week was a huge hit to the face that the unfamiliar and the braver thing for me to do to step into my highest good and to really be in alignment with my highest self is to go the unfamiliar route of taking the feather and having patience and not stepping on or hurting people along the way.
It's so good. So trust to me is like a huge trust to me is really spirituality. Like if you were to really wrap up what spirituality means to me, it really means to trust. And if we were to kind of break that down a little bit more, even like when we, and this is something that I live my life by, and I truly believe when you challenge yourself, like truly challenge yourself, you're going to be supported. The universe will support you. You're going to receive support. But if you stay in your comfort zone and you stay in the sense where you want it to feel comfortable or feel familiar, you're going to be challenged. And oftentimes I find, especially with many inspiring driven human beings like yourself, the familiar is I'm going to push, I'm going to force the thing, I'm going to will my way to make it happen. And the the reality is that makes sense, and it made sense until it no longer makes sense. Like you actually have to do that until it no longer makes sense to do that. And now it's almost like it's switched. So now the new game is flow. The new game is almost like I'm picturing, instead of, let's say you have this big, inspiring, audacious goal. And it's like in the past, it's like, I'm going to not force, but I'm going to push and I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. And the switch then would be, I have this big inspiring goal, and now I'm going to play in the energy of flow, play in the energy of creating and sharing and trusting that by me doing it in a way that's fun and flowing, that now I'm almost going to convince this goal to come play with me because I'm having so much fun in this energy. So that is the new challenge, because it's easier to actually take the action and force it. It's more difficult or unfamiliar to trust that by playing and enjoying and being in this energy, that then it's going to come to you. And I agree. So let's say you continue to push. So you're like, I'm going to keep forcing. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to get like that baseball bat from the universe saying, stop doing that, because you need to allow yourself to have patience and to maybe slow down and allow it to come to you. Whereas somebody else, if they're not taking any action, they might get a baseball bat from the universe saying, you need to get into action and get this ball moving. So it's ever changing, and it really depends on the individual. So you really have to tap in and say, what is it that, because I love myself, And because I'm worthy of love, and because I want this dream or this desire, or whatever it is that you're aspiring to do, what would be the most loving thing? And sometimes that's pushing, and sometimes it's not pushing. So it's really, you have to know yourself, and you have to trust that you are worthy of it. Because often, I think one of the biggest reasons we don't trust and have patience is because you're like, well, what if I don't force it? What if it doesn't happen? Well, then you just have to do some work on the belief part of it. But it's a different game, and I'm right there with you. I'm playing in that energy too. It's like it's scary to be like, I know my abilities to manifest by doing and attracting and creating, but it's like when you flow and you have to almost do less, be more, it's like, ooh, that's kind of scary.
Right. It's uncomfortable. And that's like, I think it's what's so beautiful about this process is that, like you said, it's overcoming really, you have to overcome inertia of both. So if you're used to doing nothing, then you're probably going to have to do something. But if you're used to doing everything, then you're probably going to have to slow down. Like it's just this overcoming what comes natural. And I think for so many of the people that I know that you work with and I work with, right, this is what we're conditioned to believe is that um hard work is the only way. We have to just constantly push our way. We have to go through that. But it's like, use the analogy of like you are in a kayak and you're paddling upstream. Whenever we're doing that, we are just trying, like we're paddling upstream and you're going to go, but not fast, right? Where it's like, if we can just learn to turn the kayak around, as uncomfortable as it is, and let it flow to exactly where we're supposed to go, then life can become easier. And I've just like, there's this tension that releases, there's this lightness, and it's really the freedom that everyone is looking for. They're looking for that. And freedom isn't something you can get, it's something that you feel into.
One one thing that popped as you said it, because I think one thing that's confusing, because often we were taught this growing up, is like there's almost also a misperception for trust. So it's like if I trust or if I surrender, if I flow, it means I have absolutely no control. I'm putting my hands up and I'm like, well, wherever this takes me, it takes me. So then people do that, or we do that, and then it's like, well, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. And it's like you still have to set your intentions. You still have to put like some action, some love, some whatever it is that you need to do behind it. And then trust that because you're worthy of love, because your heart wants you to have what the universe wants you to have, what you desire, that it's going to happen the way it's meant to happen. And that's where it's the flow, and that's where it's the ease and the grace. And I think it's just this weird word that I think has been misused so many times when we were younger. It's like, oh, well, just trust. Well, I trusted and it didn't come. It's like, well, did you do anything? Like did you put your intention out there? Did you do your maybe if you had some limiting beliefs, have you done some inner work on it? And often, and I think that's the other part of it, is we think we have to take more action steps and this and this and this and this. And it's like, but maybe it's more integration, like really feeling it and becoming it and enjoying it and acting as if it's already there. That's the next level of trust. That's now who you are and not something that you're trying to then create.
Yeah. And I think that whenever I talk to anybody about like the different chakras and the different things, like there is this level of like our root chakra is such, it's our stability, it's our foundation, it's what allows us to actually manifest into the world. And I always say like the overarching theme of this chakra is trust, but, and not but, trying to get used to this, not using but, and it is about trusting yourself just as much as you trust the divine or spirit or God too. So it's this, and I think that is like you're saying, this is where this misconception comes from, because people will put all of their trust again into something outside of themselves. And then when you do that, it also doesn't work. We have to have this equal amount of trust that I have what it takes, but I am also equally know that the universe is going to support that is going to support that no matter what. And it's this beautiful thing of like, now you use this word co-creation, right? And like now we're co-creating because we see ourselves as worthy and that we know that we can do it. And we know that if everything got stripped away from us, that we would be strong enough to put it back. And this is actually my husband always talks about prayer and it drives him crazy because it's not, he's like, it's asking for someone to show up and fix it for you. Like, and for some people it is. And I heard this thing this weekend. Oh, this blew my mind. So let me know what you think of this. Is that prayer is asking to, you have to pray. And then the other side of praying is to be, you have to be willing to show up as the conduit of change.
Wow.
How profound is that?
Yeah.
Right? You have to show up to your prayers and you have to be willing to shift. And something that you said that reminded me of a conversation I had this morning was it's one thing to be aware of something. Like I was very aware of my sledgehammer tendencies. Okay. It is a whole nother thing to be willing to shift it and to embody something other than that, to be the conduit of change.
It's so powerful. It's so good. And it's so true. Like, and a lot of the work that I do, and I know you do similar stuff. It's like, there's these different levels isn't even the best way to say it, but let's call them levels. And one of them is this life you're so in love with, like creating a life you're so in love with. And often people who want to create this life they're so in love with, you have to become it. Okay, I'm going to step in, I'm going to become the person that lives this life that I love. And then once you really integrate that, once you live that, now you're living in this thriving energy. And that next step for thriving then becomes co-creation. And that's like that co-creating magic, like co-creating magic with yourself, with others, your partner, the universe, being open to it. But it's like, if you're in survival mode, you actually can't be open to co-creating because now it's just not safe. Like you just can't do it. And that there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you're not in the space yet to be in the thriving energy to play with the co-creation. So it has to start with the trust. And if you're a conduit for change, then you're trusting that no matter what happens, you're going to give yourself what your heart wants, or give yourself the transformation or whatever it is. It gives you your power back because now you're not looking for an outside source or person or event to now give that to you. And I think that's really that evolution of growth. It's like you have to get to the point where you love your life, you're grateful for your life, you're living this life that you absolutely are like, I'm so grateful that this is what I get to experience. And then from that space, it's like, now how can I co-create so we can see how fun it can get? Like, let's truly play in this energy of fun. And now you're going to be a conduit of change for a totally different reason and from a different power source than what got you there. So I think there's just so many levels and so many layers to it, and it's fun.
It is so fun. And again, I talk in different terms, very similar things. And this past weekend, it was a reminder that I believe that people have to get a little selfish before they can become selfless. So we have to understand ourselves at like this really deep level. And we go from the root chakra, then we move in through the sacral chakra. And that's really about self-worth. It's about love, but it's about this like passion for things in your world. So it's kind of like what you're talking about, right? Like that first level, you have this like passion and this gratitude and all of this for like the things that are in your world. And then we move and we get our power back. And then we move into the heart. And the heart is where transformation truly happens, because this is where we get to take all of our energy And we get to start to co-create in all these beautiful ways, but from a very different space. It becomes not about us any longer, but it had to be about us first in order to even have access to that. And so then when people start leading from this heart-centered space, all of these beautiful things come pouring in. And because it's no longer about you. This is about the bigger picture. This is about the doing what's best for all, not just what's best for you. But it's okay to do what's best for you.
Yes.
And that's the only way we get there.
Yes. I'm so happy you brought it up. Like, that fires me up. I was actually talking, it was Tuesday. So it was earlier this week. I was with one of my mentors, Coach Dave Buck. So he actually founded the Transformation Leadership Council, basically the top big names in the world. And we were talking about this exact same thing. And it's about this concept of it's no longer about you. And this is something that I have been playing in the energy of for a bit. And I was like, I kept getting this message. It's like, okay, stop making it about you, make it about them. It's not about you anymore. I'm like, but what does that mean? So I really like, and this is something you cannot spiritually bypass. So this is something where I think a lot of people say, well, it's not about me. I'm just going to make it about other people. But you have to truly embody that it is about you. It's always been about you. And by making it about you, you actually bring yourself back to the oneness, which then helps other people. But you can't spiritually bypass that. You can't say, well, you know what? I'm just going to make it about them. And then, like, you have to truly own that. So I think one of the best ways that you can make it about others is by truly living from your heart, which really what it comes back to. It's like the best way you can have a world impact, an individual impact is by you truly listening and living from the values of your heart. And then from that space, owning that, integrating that, doing whatever that takes, or becoming whatever that is. And then from that place, you just organically then start to make it about others. But by making it about others, you're actually making it about yourself, because that's what your heart wants. So it's like this really cool thing. It's like, let's say my heart really desires to impact people, and this is something it does. Like, it truly wants to help people to live their most epic life, like not an ordinary life, like a truly amazing one. So yes, I have to do my inner work. I have to integrate it. I have to do those things. But now if I hold myself back from sharing it with other people, I'm not helping them, but I'm actually not helping myself. So by me helping other people and helping them get what they want, and coming from that, I'm actually doing what my heart wants, which is, so making it about them, but it's really about me. And it's always us, because people are just a mirror and a reflection of who we are. And once you can own that and truly, truly, truly live from that place, I think, like, that's how you change the world. By one person living from their heart, and then someone else sees that and they're like, wow, I want to live from my heart. And it sounds,
Because go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was going to say, it sounds like simple, and it kind of is simple, but it's fucking hard. It's like, so
Yes, it's not simple, because the first thing is that when people are living from their heart space, they are infectious. Their energy is something that people gravitate towards, whether you want to or not. These are when you are, it's just, again, it's what will transform the world. I believe that with everything in me, that if we can start to live, more people can start to live from our heart, our world will transform. But right now, there's so many people that are incapable of doing that. And why it's so hard is because, something that you said is, a lot of times people, we have all these life experiences that we have to work through. So get a mentor, get a coach, get somebody to help you work through these things, because we cannot see our own blind spots, right? It's just really difficult. The process takes much longer, which we'll talk about that in a second. But a lot of times when people say it's not about me, they're lying to themselves. And this is what Andrea and I are trying to hopefully help you see, is they have become a martyr in their life. And that is one of the archetypes of an imbalanced sacral chakra, is because you aren't doing it for you. People who give all of themselves to everyone else, but don't give all of themselves to themselves they do things for other people, but not from a place of love. They do it from a place of actually fear and proving themselves and hoping that that person is going to give them something in return, whether that be love, acceptance, whatever it is that they're looking for. So it's actually, they think they're being selfless, but they've just talked themselves into that. And they have all these expectations on the world around them. Right. And so that's when you know that you've kind of transferred from, but you have to learn. I could go on about this, but anyways, but then you know that you've made this transfer. And like you said, it's not like you don't flip a switch and this changes. You do the work and it starts to change. You put yourself, you embody, you integrate. And then all of a sudden, one day you're like, wow, I'm doing this work and I can do this from a heart-centered place. And I know that because I have nothing, no expectations of anyone else. Like I'm okay. I don't need anything from anybody else. I don't need them to tell me how great I am. I don't need this many people. I don't need to charge this amount of money because my money isn't tied. The amount I charge is not tied to my worth. You realize that you're not doing it for any reason but the fact that you have so much to give that you're able to do so.
I totally agree. And I think that's for me where life gets fun, like truly fun. It's like, let's see how good it can get. Let's see how fun we can make life. And what you're saying makes so much sense because if we're thinking heart, we're thinking love. Love, you don't need anything. Love is an essence. Love is who you are. Whereas need, or if you're doing it from fear, it's an emotion. So, and I would say at the root of pretty much every single one of our fears is either I'm unworthy, I'm not enough, I'm incapable, I'm not loved, I'm not lovable. So now we're doing it because we want to be enough. So part of the work is removing those stories, coming back to your essence, which you are already enough. And from that place of I'm enough, I'm loved, I'm worthy, I'm going to create from that space. I'm going to share and offer my gifts from that energy. And it's not because I need to, it's because I truly desire to. And when you're doing that, like, don't be confused that now it's like, oh, everything's just simple and easy from that space. There's still challenges. It's like, it's still challenging to run a business and to offer things and to co-create with other humans because you're still growing, you're still evolving, you're still a human, but it's a different energy. And it's a subtle shift from I'm doing this so that one day I'll be enough, or I want to be loved, or I need to do this so that I can feel a certain way, to now I'm loved, I truly love myself, and I feel worthy. So now I want to almost like expand that light out into the world. But the tricky part is we don't actually, for most of the time, we don't actually think this way. It's not like we are like, oh, I think I'm unworthy. Oh, I don't think I'm worthy. It's like, it's so much ingrained into our beliefs, into our thoughts, into our being, into all these things, is we have to really get to know ourselves so that when subtle things pop up, it's like, oh, that's not the truth. That's actually just a belief coming up to be released so that I can continue on my dream. And the work doesn't stop. It's like, I think part of it is like, oh, if I do this, then I'm going to be free and I'm going to have this amazing life and everything's going to be perfect. It's like, it gets easier and it gets more fun, but from a different way. It's like your work never stops. And that's why we're here on earth. If the truth is, if you're already done your work, you wouldn't be here. We're incarnating to truly, to learn to love ourselves and learn to love others and just play in the energy. So I think one of my things I've learned is like to really love that process. And I think it's the detective part, but it's also like we do get to be detectives of our lives. That's interesting. I wonder what that means. Cool. That's popping up. What could that mean? And it's all part of this journey of coming back home to ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. I think that it's just it's a really beautiful process. And like you said, it never stops. This is why I call it Earth School. Like we're on Earth School.
Uh,
Okay. So we're here for a reason, and we're here to help raise the vibration of the earth. But in order to do that, we have to focus on ourselves, and we have to get really curious about, and like you said, I think it does happen in our habits and our beliefs and all of these, and pay attention to your actions, right? People will tell me all the time, like, no, I'm doing, I don't put everybody else first. And then like their actions say something very different. Like it's a question of, do you treat yourself as well as you treat others? That simple question will throw people that are listening to this right now, because you probably don't. Right. And therefore, there's just work to be done. And that's okay, because we've all got work to do. Like I said, last week I got hit in the face with a 2x4. We get hit all the time, but it's just such
literally
a
all.
beautiful thing, right? Like, because we get this opportunity to continue to come back to whole, which is all healing really is this coming back to whole, or like I would say, like coming back to your soul essence, which sits in the back of your heart. So the heart is that transformative place. And yeah, gosh, it's so beautiful. And I just love the work that you're doing. And this is why we could talk forever, right? Is because of this. But I know that I want to talk about timing a little bit, because like you said, you have to learn to enjoy this process. I know Andrea feels the same way, in the fact that like our job, we try to we want you to work us out of a job. Like, I wish I didn't have to do this, right? Like, that would be so great. And we want people to be on their own. But and why do you think it's so important for people to work with like a coach or a mentor for a decent amount of time, like at least 6 months or so, right? Or gosh, sometimes more. Because I know that that's something you're pretty passionate about.
I am super passionate about it. So I walk my talk. I to be honest, I can't see myself without a mentor in some form. Not because I need a mentor, because I truly choose to have a mentor. It's like I came from a sports background too. Like I was a competitive athlete, and to me, it just makes sense. It's like if you truly want to play in the arena of you playing at your best, it's like it's really hard to do that on your own. But if we're to really talk about specifically why I think this is important, if we think back to, let's call them the two levels. We have the creating and living this life that you're so in love with. For the most part, you could do that on your own. Like you could create the job that you love, the partner that you love. Like you can do that. I would still recommend having a mentor to help you do that, because it's going to bypass so much time. It's going to collapse time. It's going to be way more fun, all these things. But now let's say we are moving up into the energy of co-creating magic, where now you're not just enjoying life, you're truly seeing how fun it can get. Like you are living your most amazing life. To do that, it is impossible to do that on your own. Self-sufficiency is actually going to hold you back from living your most amazing life. Like you just cannot do it alone. So part of it is you're not going to live the amazing epic life that you want if you're trying to do everything by yourself. Part of it is because I was talking to this with somebody, and this is one reason why I love doing podcasts and I love co-creating with other people, is if you think about it. So let's even say someone who has a business and they're putting information out for other people. It's like, think of your energy levels when you're alone. And then think of your energy levels when you're with someone else. Depending on the person, if there's someone that you enjoy co-creating with, they're going to magnify your energy. They're going to light you up. They're going to spark something in you that wasn't otherwise sparked with you being on your own. So co-creation actually creates this magnetic energy within you. It was already within you. It just needed to be lit up. So now, not only are you being this brighter essence of who you are, so now you can go and create things you never would have created before, admit things you never admitted before, do things you've never done before, but you're also going to have more fun, because now your energy's amped, their energy's amped, And now you're going to create this epic thing that you probably wouldn't have come up on your own. So part of it is just the energy is huge, and then having the right mentor is huge. So I do recommend in not just finding a coach just to have a coach, or a mentor just to have a mentor, but actually taking your time to find somebody who lights something in you. Either they've done what you want to do and they're a little further down the road, or they are able to help you play in the arena that you want to play in. But really it's all about, we can't do it alone. We have to stop saying, well, I can do it alone, I can figure it out, whether it's the money or it's the thing. We're not meant to do life alone. We were taught that in school. Sit there, you do your work, and you can't copy off each other, and you can't talk to each other, and you're going to get a grade. It's like, it sucks the life out of us. Like, we weren't meant to do that. That's the industrial age. The co-creation age, the heart-centered age is the collaboration. It's I'm going to keep saying it, the co-creation, like the true magic that comes when we are playing in this heart energy with other people. That is why I truly, truly, truly believe that having a mentor or a coach or somebody who's playing in the same energy as you, who can help elevate you to the next level, is necessary and required to help you to be able to play outside of your comfort zone.
Mm. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And I think, I mean, you're right. It's just pay attention to your energy when you're with somebody, when you're listening to somebody, when whatever it is. And like if they amplify something in you and you feel that like, whoo, like when you're like, pay attention to that. And same on the same token, if you get in a room with someone or you hear somebody and you're like, ugh, like that's just not your person. And it doesn't mean that there's somebody else's person. And that's okay. That's why there's so many different people to work with. But like Andrea's saying, we only, I was talking about this. Sometimes the shit I say sounds so funny, but I was in a meditation and a sloth came to me and it was like, I realized, well, what he said was that we only see things through the lens at which we're comfortable, through the eyes in which we want to see it, right? And so we have to be able to take things, flip them on their heads, turn them around in circles, spin them around as many times as you need until you start to see it a different way. Can you do that alone? Maybe, but let me tell you what's so much easier. If you do have someone else to help you see through a different set of lenses, that's all you're doing, right? Is just like, you've got this opportunity because we see things through our past conditioning. Get somebody who doesn't have your past conditioning that's going to be able to help you differentiate and discern, is that true? Is there another way to look at this? Like, what is this actually? Is this a gift? And I'm looking at it as a total blow to the heart, like whatever that looks like.
And what you're saying, so what just popped up too is, it's like at a certain point too, you do need somebody, like it's awesome, and I highly recommend having a partner who's supportive, and have friends who are supportive, and surround yourself with people who are supportive. But they can only get you so far, because they don't know how to guide you to that next step as well, from that place of judgment free awareness, from that place of holding the big picture, coming from that place of neutrality. So it's important and there's also, if we're to go into more of like the spiritual or the scientific parts behind like the different lineages and what's most important to you, you want to find something that resonates with you, because there's so many different ways that you can do some of this work. Like the work that I do, a lot of it is the subconscious stuff. It's playing in the realm of possibilities. I have friends that do hypnotherapy. You're doing your own, but it's all in the same realm of helping people to live through their heart. That's really the goal, is to help people to live from their heart. So there's so many different ways that you can do that. So what makes sense now might not make sense 3 years from now, or might not. Like when I first started with my mentor, it was more like, okay, let's do the blocks. I have a shit ton of blocks that I need to go through really quickly. So I did that. And now it's less blocks, and I do a lot of that on my own, and it's something else. That's not the point. The point is you have to meet yourself with where you're at now. So that could be having a specific type of support in your corner until it no longer makes sense. and then finding a new type of support. And it has to be something that you're willing to commit to yourself. I find like that's the magic. It's like we do great work, but the reason people get transformation is because people commit to themselves. They're like, I'm going to change. I'm going to commit to changing. So even if you do have a mentor, you have to be the catalyst for your change, just like you were saying.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. We could again go on about this forever because it is such a powerful thing to realize that. And I think what's so powerful about working with somebody, I've had women now that I've worked with for over a year, and it has been amazing because just as much as they have transformed, I've evolved and I've grown. And so luckily I've been the person that can continue. And somebody doesn't have to relearn you, like they know you really well, which can be a really powerful aspect of sticking with somebody for a long time. But like Andrea's saying, there's also, like, I don't doubt that there's going to come a point when some of these women, as much as I don't want to let them go, that I'm not going to be the person that's going to take them to that next level. And you just have to know yourself well enough to know what that is. But don't try to do it alone. And that is in the world we can see with these two eyes. And then also in the unseen world, ask for help. If there is something you're working on, if there's a guide that you need, if there's a coach that you want, if there's a mentor, the amount of times I've seen this happen in my own life is ask for it. Ask for it and then just hold on tight, because you are going to get hit with exactly what you need if you're willing to ask for help. So ask for help. And like I said, unseen, seen, all the things. So Andrea, I want to make sure that I honor your time. So I have one last question for you before we pop off. Is what is one lesson you're in the middle of learning right now?
I'm really playing in this energy of kind of what we're talking about today, the next level of trusting and surrender is maybe not even the best word to say it, but let's just call it trusting and surrendering to my divinity, to my God self, to the process of what's coming through me. And from that place of love, because I've loved, I almost picture it as like this river. There's this river flowing and I'm watching this river flow. And the me 2 years ago would be like, okay, let's get on a tube and let's ride down this river and let's play in the river. And it's like, but I don't actually need to. It's like I'm meant to just watch what's flowing through me now. It's not about me. It's about sharing what my true essence wants to share. And I think why this is such a lesson for me right now is because I'm still playing with, like, there is a lot of embodiment that happens when you are playing in that next growth energy. And I have a bunch of big things that want to come through me right now from my heart, from my soul, from the universe. And some of them I don't fully understand because I'm like, that's big. And that doesn't maybe make sense on what my mind wanted my plan to be. But at the same time, it's exciting. And it's like, okay, how can I truly play in the energy of flow? So allowing it to flow, but also trusting that I can also have what I want in the process and then it's going to happen for me. So I think if I were to really wrap it up into one word, it's trust. It's like next level trust.
Oh, it sounds like we're going through the same lesson. Next level trust. I love that. I love that because it is. There's trust, and then there's a whole another level of trust that, like, because we will say it all the time, like, no, I do. I trust. And then it's like, this is like, oh, I really trust. Really got to trust this. Like, because it feels.
I need to trust and trust right now because.
Right. Because like it feels so unfamiliar, right? Not bad. Just unfamiliar. So, Andrea, thank you so much. I know that people are going to get so much out of this episode, and we'll make sure that we link up in the show notes how people can get in touch with you. You are such a important and just you've just been an amazing part of my life in such a short period of time, and I thank you for that, and just for always showing up with, like, if there's somebody that I would say that just shows up with everything that they have to every single thing they do, it is you. And so thank you for doing that every time I've spoken to you today with the listeners. And if anybody feels connected to Andrea, please reach out. And yeah, just thank you.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for you. And as you were saying that, I don't know why this popped in, but well, I know why, but I truly do feel like we're all on the same team. And it's like, we're all just here to help each other, but we're also here to really just be who we are. So I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful that Megs, who is an awesome human being, so go back and listen to that episode because that is an awesome
34.
episode. Yeah, I'm just grateful for being able to play in this energy with you, and I'm grateful for everyone here for listening. So thank you.